Quarles-Mowrer, and I'd like to welcome you all to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Pottstown. Welcome to all of you who came to join us here in our sanctuary on this beautiful day, although it's not quite as beautiful as Tuesday was. And welcome to those of you who are with us today on Zoom, and welcome to those of you who are with us sometime in the future. With all the choices we have for our time, especially our time in person on Sundays, we are so glad that you came to spend that time with us. This morning, we are honored to have music by pianist Jessica Smith. She's the co-owner of Earth Song Creative Arts. And we'd like to send a shout out to Rob Carrasquillo as our technology lead today. Thank you. For over 50 years, the UUFP has been a liberal religious voice in the Pottstown area. As UUs, we believe that it's okay if we're still out there exploring questions, no matter how long we've been asking. The world is a big place, and there's lots of things that we don't know yet. Like JD was saying yesterday, or last week, that island of knowledge, it's ever expanding, and so we're happy if you still have questions about what's out there in the rest of the ocean. But most importantly, we believe that our circle of justice and compassion is big enough for everyone, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, and no matter what questions you are still asking. So we hope that your spirit and your heart and your mind are refreshed this morning as we explore the way that love guides our experience of the principle of acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. We come together this Sunday morning and every Sunday morning, not because we share a creed, but because we promise one another to support each other on our spiritual journey. Our services are really different every week, but the love and support in this community is always the same. So whoever you are, wherever you are, whomever you love, we are glad to have you with us today. All right, so now is time for announcements. If anyone has an announcement, please come on up to the front and feel free to use the microphone.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I want to remind everyone that the UUFP Walking Club is meeting at 11:30 at Phoenixville. In Phoenixville.
It's in the announcement. So.
Yeah, I'm going to be sending out another one to everyone's email tomorrow, and I hope you can make it. It'll be good weather. Thanks.
Everybody. We are doing a key audit, so if you have a key to the building, please let me know and bring it to the office. We're going to do like a big key check, and then we will reissue them just for security purposes, because there's probably lots and lots of keys out there. So we just kind of want to do like a check, and then just for safety and security reasons. So thank you. Oh, I want all keys back by March 31st, please. I'll make a sign and a place in the office then.
When should we do this? Like after social hour, or is it like a particular time? Okay.
Yeah.
Just come over.
Yep.
Good morning. I'm Irene, and as Emily has nicely said, it's so beautiful out. Spring is almost upon us, and with that come a lot of super exciting fundraising events here at the UFP. Yeah, first and foremost, we're having our spring protest happening on Saturday, March the 28th from 10 to 12. It is in the same place right across from Target on Route 100. Again, it's from 10 to 12. I already had 6 to 7 people register with us, and I'm hoping I'll get some more today. Please get with me, email me, text me, and let me know if you're really trying to show up in our UUFC gear loud and proud on the 28th. Speaking about social justice, our social justice action circle will be held later this month due to some competing engagements. That will also be an optimal time for that because I'll be following our protest. We'll be running loud and proud, and we'll have a lot of action pieces to talk about. Thank you all for Beacon of Hope donations. I dropped them off. Everyone was very happy to receive your warm clothing as well as the non-perishable foods. We're still donating, so if you have anything to donate, please do so. Couple more exciting events coming up in April. Get your calendars ready before you turn off that phone. Put them in. First, by popular demand, so many of you have approached me. Israel Elias Coulomb is coming for a poetry workshop. It's going to be social justice themed. It's just the creativity theme that comes with it. In April, he'll be here on April the 18th. It's a Saturday from 10 to 2. It is going to be a fundraiser for UUFP, so I hope you all can come in. I know there's been a lot of interest in that. So yeah, let me know if you are interested, and we'll certainly sell you a ticket. And then another event in April is Uplifting Voices Project is putting on another author event. It's on April 30th, Thursday at 6:30. We're looking to have 2 social justice themed events, and Chad and I really hope to see many of you there. Again, a lot of exciting events, and hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.
This is a show and tell. This is down in the parking lot. Okay. Now found the owner. Thank you.
Thank you. That's fine.
So Sydney said she would like the chalice today. Thank you. We're going to light our chalice this morning with words by Craig Rowland. It's inspired, his words are inspired by the poem You Deserve a Love, Merces un Amor, by Estefania Meiter, and it's frequently misattributed to Frida Kahlo. We light this chalice for the ones who arrived disheveled, carrying questions, contradictions, grief half-healed, and dreams still raw. You deserve a place that welcomes your becoming, that knows your fire is not too much, your silence is not too little. A place that sees your shadows and still reaches for your light. You deserve a community that listens when you speak your truth, that sits with you in turmoil and rises with you in joy, that believes in your voice even when it trembles. You deserve a circle that brings you hope and coffee and poetry, a place to rest, a place to rise. Let this flame be that place, not perfect, but possible, not without cracks, but full of light. Welcome home. And now is the time where I remind you that that same technology that brings the far-flung corners of the earth into where we can, into our hands, actually, can also distract us from the here and now. So if you haven't already, please put your phone into worship mode, so that you can concentrate on being here today. And now's the time where we take a nice deep breath. You can settle more firmly into your seat. You can feel how your body is touching the chair, how your hands touch each other or maybe touch your lap. You can close your eyes if you choose. You can let your thoughts, when they spin out of control, you can bring them back to your breathing. You can notice the sound of the fan as it warms the room. You can notice the sound of the people. You can hear how we are all together. For an opening this morning, we have words by Gretchen Haley. She writes, "Give up the fight for some other moment, for some other life than here and now. Give up the longing for some other world, the wishing for other choices to make, other songs to sing, other bodies, other ages, other countries, other stakes. Purge the past, forgive the future, for each come too soon. Surrender only to this life, this day, this hour, not because it does not constantly break your heart, but because it also beckons with beauty, startles with delight, if only we keep waking up. This is the gift we've been given. These body clothes, this heartbreak, this pulse, this breath, this light, these friends. Here we remember ourselves, all a part of it. Come, let us worship together." And now I am very excited to introduce our first hymn of the morning. It's number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Please rise if you are willing and able.
Standing on these mountains and plains,
time for a story. But before we come up, I want you all to imagine with me for a moment, the things that you love about life. Things that you love about being alive. All right, now if anyone wants to come on, sit up front and share a couple of those things they were thinking about. Come on up to the front. Really, just one person wants to come up here? I want props. It's going to be hard to use the props from your seats back there. Thank you.
Must we sit on?
No, you don't need to sit on the, you don't need to sit on the floor. All right. So, what's something you love about life? Yeah, that's true. Food is a great thing to love about life. I love food too.
Hiking and feeling the sun on my face.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Walking in the fresh spring air.
Oh, lovely. That's a wonderful thing. Wilderness? Nice. All right.
The buds of the red maple tree is coming out now.
Oh, yes. Those are beautiful.
Oh,
Those are all wonderful things that we love about life, yeah? All right, so thinking of those things, sometimes it's hard to keep things in balance. So one of the things that we really love about life is the interdependent web of life, how things have to stay in balance. So we're and this is why no one could hear. Okay. So I have a bunch of sticks up here. And these sticks, they all have different balance points. I want to know if anybody can balance just whatever stick you happen to have. Balance it on one finger. Or if one finger isn't working, maybe balance on two fingers. Does anybody want to come up here and try a stick? We're going to try and balance. So feel free to stand up. Yeah, come on up. Feel free to come on up and choose a stick and try balance.
Wow, they're cutting off.
everybody wants to balance a stick.
All right, and if you got a stick, stay standing with your stick, because then we're going to move around a little bit. All right. So yeah, it's interesting how every stick has a little bit different balance point on it. Like some of the sticks you would think they might balance all the way over here, but really they balance over here. And I see everybody's got their sticks like really balanced. That's really amazing. All right, now I want everybody to try to get closer to each other. So stand in a group like you're going to take a group photo. It's really hard. It kind of makes a web, doesn't it? How everybody's sticks have to kind of overlap a little bit when you get close to each other. Yeah, we can put that up. Scooch in. Get all these sticks really close. Aha, look at that. So it kind of makes an interdependent web. Just like our community is a little bit of an interdependent web when we all get close to each other. Because we all have different balance points. We all have different things that we think about. But we all interact together very carefully to stay in balance. All right, thank you everybody for indulging me. And you can keep your stick if you want it, or you can put it back. to the ad-libs that I was doing. She said, it's tricky to keep balance with everyone so close, because you have to pay attention not only to your piece, but you have to be aware of everyone else too. It's like an amazing interdependent web of all existence infused with the spirit of life. Everything is closely intertwined and balanced in the web with everything else. And we are fortunate to be able to choose to live and act in ways that strengthen the spirit and that keep us mindful of that delicate balance, that precious balance that we are all a part of. All right, so now it's time to go to class so we can sing you all the class, now that you've all sat down again. The time for our offering, give what you will. For the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that meant so much to those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much to those who have yet to come. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. For the offering that was given with love and received with joy and thankfulness. So the next thing we have is a reading, and this reading is a responsive reading, but your response is very simple. It's just 2 words, it's a day. So when I do this, everyone's going to say, a day. Wonderful. Do we really apprehend what a day is? Do we feel its importance? Do we know its capacity? A day. It has risen upon us from the great depths of eternity, girt round with wonder, emerging from the womb of darkness, a new creation of life and light, spoken into being by the word of God. A day. In itself, one entire and perfect sphere of space and time, filled and emptied of the sun. A day. Every past generation is represented in it. It is the flowering of all history. Amen. And in so much it is richer and better than all other days which have preceded it. Amen. And we have been recreated to new opportunities with new powers. Amen. Called to this utmost promontory of actual time, this center of all converging life. Amen. And it is for 2 days' work that we have been endowed. It is for this that we are pressed and surrounded with these facilities. Amen. The sum of our entire being is concentrated here, and today is all the time that we absolutely have. So celebrate today, because it is our day. Amen. All right, so this morning's sermon is This Life is More Than Just a Read-Through. And anyone who's been here since before my oldest daughter was born may have heard this before, or something very similar. I'm reprising a script from the 2010s. But I figured that most people have not paid enough attention and would not remember, and if I hadn't told you, you might not have even noticed. So, I once listening to a Fresh Air interview on NPR. That is not a surprise to any of you. I no longer remember which actor Terry Gross was speaking with or which new movie they were discussing, but I remember Terry asking how the actor managed to pour a particular emotion into the scene. And I remember the actor saying, "Oh, it's easier than real life, because if I get it wrong, I can just do it over again." When I was in high school, I was in all the plays and musicals. I was the stereotypical theater nerd. I loved acting because everything was known. I knew what I had to say. I knew what emotions I was supposed to feel. And I knew what responses I would get. And I got to practice being the person I was expected to be until I got it right. And I knew that I got it right because there was a director out there telling me, yes, that is right. And even if I interpreted something wrong, or I flubbed the dialogue, or I dropped a prop, there was always the next rehearsal where I could fix it. You know, Shakespeare wrote, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one person in his time plays many parts." Well, it's true that in life we have many roles. But unlike in a play, we don't know our lines in advance. And anyone who, like me, is terrible at cocktail parties, you know that it would be really helpful to have your lines in advance. There is no writer in a back room feeding you the snappy dialogue that will change someone's mind in an argument. Like, you can't go back and say that funny comeback that you came up with 3 hours after the guy at the DMV insulted your intelligence. Does anyone still go to the DMV?
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, see, I renew everything online now. Like, I don't even have to interact with the DMV. But there's no one behind the scenes whispering your line when you can't find the words to express sympathy, or somebody to help you predict how people will react to your smiles or your frowns. And the hardest part is that when we make a mistake, we can't yell "cut" and replay that scene. But my sermon title this week doesn't actually come from a play. It comes from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. For those of you who have never heard that song, it sounds like nonsense with a couple of profound statements mixed in. In fact, until I started writing this, I really hadn't thought about the words at all. It was just a catchy tune, and it ended in a sentiment that I wanted to remember. And the sentiment is, "Can't stop the spirits when they need you. This life is more than just a read-through." When I reread those lyrics, I realized that it's about the way that we realize how precious and wonderful a gift life is only when we're confronted with the end of life. I don't know if you've ever read Mitch Albom's book, Tuesdays with Morrie. Well, that's what the book Tuesdays with Morrie is all about. Not knowing what you have until it's slipping away. Mitch says something about that, and here's Morrie's reply. "Ah, Mitch, the culture doesn't encourage you to think about such things until you're about to die. We're so wrapped up with egotistical things: career, family, having enough money, needing a mortgage, getting a new car, fixing the radiator when it breaks. All of these things coincidentally happened like this month. We're involved in trillions of little acts just to keep going. So we don't get in the habit of standing back and looking at our lives and saying, is this all? Is this all I want? Is something missing? And something to think about. Is something missing? Are you the person you want to be? When I chose the topic, I wasn't thinking about people looking back on their lives and hoping they hadn't missed anything important. I was going to write a rallying cry. Get out there, make a difference. The power is yours to choose how people see you. The only director in your life is you. But I didn't realize how true it is that we don't really give ourselves time to examine our lives. And I also didn't think about how hard it is to get out there and make a difference when you don't know where there is or what exactly should be different. There was this McDonald's commercial from the 80s when I was little that I can still sing the jingle for, but I will spare you. But basically it was like these kids who were listing all the things that they wanted to do, and they're like, oh yeah, I want to be a dancer, and I want to be a painter, and I want to ride in a rodeo. And it ended with a kid who was like, what I really want to be is an electroencephalographic technologist. And the other kids are like, a what? I think that a lot of kids put themselves on a path to be the first things that those kids think of, like a painter, a rock and roll player, I want to be a videographer, I want to be a YouTuber. Because those are the things that they see, those are the things that they know about. They don't see environmental remediation analysis as guests on Sesame Street. The kid who spent Saturday mornings watching ants and comparing their behavior to the fireflies or the grasshoppers might think that science is just one of those things you study at school and may never discover that she or he could have been a research entomologist. And even if we are encouraged to do what we love as kids, as we get older, we're expected to put aside childish things and start to think seriously about the future. So in high school, most of us were thinking about what will get us into college. And in college, we were thinking about what would get us a good job. And I don't know how many of us stopped to think, what will get us a good life? And you know, it's not out of malice. People around us love us. And it's because they do love us and want what's best for us that the people around us, our parents, our friends, our grandparents, our mentors, they push us towards things that provide success. We're encouraged to put financial security first. And I can't even say that that's necessarily wrong. I may not have had a job when I wrote this that made me happy, but I never had to worry about my next meal or putting a roof over my head or fuel in the car. But you know, when I wrote this, I was working in finance, and my job was basically to make rich people richer. And I did not realize that there was a whole category of finance, which is where I work now, that is about helping rich people give their money away to make the world better. But you know, what would have happened if I had known that 15 years ago? But still, I wonder, and I wondered when I wrote this, and I wonder now, have I been treating my life like a rehearsal for the real thing? When I was in college, I used to do The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I don't know if any of you have heard of her. Yeah, okay, lots of people have. And I say I used to do because I would start it over and over again. I'd get to like week 3 and I'd be like, oh, no, it's too much. And then I'd get to week 5. Oh, I have to give up all forms of entertainment for a week? Are you kidding me? And then I'd give up again and then I'd start over. I never made it through the whole program. It's 12 weeks. You're supposed to just spend about 5 hours each week on the exercises and a few minutes of writing every morning. And that doesn't sound like a lot of time. I spend more time than that commuting to work 3 days a week. I'm sure I spend more time than that scrolling on my Kindle or my phone or doing the New York Times puzzles in the morning. But the difference is that the time doing The Artist's Way is time spent with myself, thinking about myself. And it feels a little selfish. How many of you out there spend time with yourself? Thinking about yourself, yeah. But how do you feel about it? Mostly okay?
I figure it this way, the better I am, the more I can help people. So I gotta help myself first.
Put your air mask on before you help others with their air masks.
Yes.
Yeah. It seems like our culture is starting to slowly realize that, but it's been a long way coming. As a legacy of my many failed attempts at The Artist's Way, I have a notebook that I carry around with me, which I replace every time it fills up. I don't write 3 pages of longhand every morning. Most of this book is now filled with to-do lists to spend, not to spend, what I ate, what I wish I hadn't eaten. I fill my book with the mundane details of life so that I don't have to fill my brain with the mundane details of life. But every once in a while, I write something so that I won't forget it. And the thing that I found while I was writing this is, if I've only got one life, I should probably make an effort to enjoy it. Because I don't think God made us to be miserable. This was written after a long list of things that had made me angry that day. So, do we have only one shot at life? Well, there's lots of Indian traditions, or Buddhism and Druidism and Greek philosophies that say no. And there are some religions and worldviews that say yes, like atheism, mainstream Judaism, mainstream Christianity, mainstream Islam. And I bet you never thought that atheists and Christians would agree on anything. But as a side note, I do have to specify that I'm saying mainstream in a lot of these cases because different people have different beliefs, even inside the big categories of each religion. There are certain people who believe that our divine spark returns again and again. But what I have to say is, does it even matter how many times we get to ride the merry-go-round? We can only remember this time. We have to live like this is our only time. One way to learn to live in the now is through meditation. Joseph Goldstein and Jack Kornfeld have written a meditation manual called Seeking the Heart of Wisdom. And one of the things they say is that the quality of openness is based on being willing to expand and see things from a larger perspective. It's like looking at our small life on this earth from a great distance and from a great length of time. Let us learn to live wisely, even though life passes like a flash of summer lightning and a dream. Scientists have shown that meditation changes not only how a person subjectively feels, but also the actual physical structures in the brain. This is a clip from an article by Bob Curley on the health site MeU Health. Just a few hours spent practicing meditation increased brain connectivity, especially in an area of the brain known to be involved in regulating conflict, emotions, and behavior. Brain improvements were seen by researchers after 6 hours of meditation and became highly apparent after 11 hours. It seems incredible that such a small investment of time can reach such large changes. But really, our whole lives are just small investments of time. We can spend those small moments worrying about our careers or our families or fixing the air conditioner. And those are legitimate concerns because we care about our families and our careers. But worrying doesn't actually solve our problems. Our worries are more like those nervous jitters we get before we go on stage. So what we have to remember is we're already on stage. We care about our careers, so we need to focus while we're there. We care about our families, so we need to listen while they're speaking. We care about ourselves. We need to make time to actively participate in our own lives. This is from the conclusion of Tuesdays with Maury. I look back sometimes at the person I was before I rediscovered my old professor. And I want to talk to that person. I want to tell him what to look out for, what mistakes to avoid. I want to tell him to be more open, to ignore the lure of advertised values, to pay attention when your loved ones are speaking, as if it were the last time you might hear them. Mostly, I want to tell that person to get on an airplane and visit a gentle old man in West Newton, Massachusetts sooner rather than later, before that old man gets sick and loses his ability to dance. And I know I cannot do this, because none of us can undo what we've done, or relive a life that's already recorded. But if Professor Morris Schwartz taught me anything at all, it was this: there is no such thing as too late in life. He was changing until the day he said goodbye. There is no such thing as too late. Life is a gift. This isn't a read-through. This isn't a rehearsal. No one's gonna say, cut, do it again. So make this take count. And please join in singing hymn number 83 in the gray hymnal, Winds Be Still. Share our joys and concerns. So this morning, it sounds like we're really thinking about connections. The connections with people who have gone before. The hard winter of losing the people we love. The hard times of Now is the time in our service where we extinguish our chalice. So please join me in reading the chalice extinguishing words. Extinguish this chalice flame, but not by our wisdom, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and in our hands until we are together again. And just like we opened with words by Craig Rowland, we're going to close with words by Craig Rowland. As we extinguish our flame, may we carry its warmth into the world, not as a memory, but as a promise. A promise that you deserve a place where your voice matters, where your laughter is treasured, where your silence is honored. You deserve a circle that sees both your scars and your strength. both your doubts and your radiance, and holds all those things with care. Let us be that circle for one another, a community of fierce welcome, wild grace, radical hope. Go forth knowing that you belong here, and you always have. Amen, shalom, salam, blessed be, and please join me in listening to the postlude. There's some lovely food out there. Go enjoy.